Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa says accusations made over the purchase of the MiG aircraft is a part of a long-standing attempt to sully his name and to cast doubt on his integrity. Issuing a communique, the former Secretary of Defence said that this is also a project to tarnish the war victory as well.
Former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa issued a communique today explaining the MiG deal. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to say that when the previous government decided in 2006 to purchase 4 MiG-27 aircraft and to get the 3 existing MiG-27 planes and 1 MiG-23 overhauled, Ukraine-Marsh, the manufacturers of MiG planes in Ukraine, were directly approached. He goes on to say that in the letter of offer sent by Ukraine-Marsh to the Ministry of Defence on the 6th of February 2006, it was specifically stated that the offer was being made in conjunction with a financier providing financing to the manufacturer and that the beneficiary of the letter of credit will be the financier. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that D.A. Pergudov, a director of Ukraine-Marsh, has written to the Sri Lankan Defence Ministry explaining that Ukraine-Marsh is a fully state-owned enterprise and that according to Ukrainian law, the establishment does not have the right to trade on credit terms and they cannot offer credit facilities for 2 years as requested by the Sri Lankan government. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to say that when the contract was signed on the 26th of July 2006 for the supply of the 4 MiG-27 aircraft and the overhaul of 4 other MiG aircraft, there were 3 signatories, in which Belimisa Holdings Limited was the designated party which was to receive the payment. The former Secretary of Defence says that when the invoice for the purchase and overhaul of the MiG aircraft was sent by Ukraine-Marsh to the commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force on the 31st of July 2006, it was specified that the Bank of Ceylon should open letters of credit in favour of Belimisa Holdings Limited. He adds that the UNP government of 2001 to 2004 had also made overtures to Ukraine-Marsh for the supply of 4 MiG-27 aircraft, and in the letter sent by them to then Defence Minister Tilak Marapana, Ukraine-Marsh had specified that the payment should be made to a finance company. Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes on to add that the method of payment laid out in the offer made to Tilak Marapana was word toward the same as made to him in 2006. He adds that when a state-owned enterprise in a foreign country enters into a legally binding contract for the supply of aircraft, the buyer has to make the payment as the seller specifies. He notes that the MiG aircraft were directly purchased from the manufacturers in Ukraine. The payment was made, the aircraft was delivered, and they were used in the war which was won, and that those aircraft are still in service. Former Defence Secretary calls upon the people of Sri Lanka not to be misled by the propaganda of interested parties who are trying to turn a lie into a truth by constantly repeating the lie.